Hello, it's Jim Hutchens for the Jerusalem Connection Spot Report. One of the questions that is often raised with us in the ministry that we're in, supporting Israel, supporting the Jewish people, is this question: will all Jews be saved? Now that's an important question. It's a very significant question. And the prophets have answered that question. For example, Isaiah, the prophet Isaiah says in Isaiah chapter 10, he's quoted also in Romans chapter 11. Isaiah chapter 10 says this: "In that day, the remnant of Israel, the survivors of the house of Jacob, a remnant will return, a remnant of Jacob will return to the mighty God. Though your people, O Israel, be like the sand by the sea, only a remnant will be saved. Only a remnant will return." Now that's pretty sobering. But even more sobering is this. When we ask the question, how many or what is the size of the remnant, we don't get a number, but we do get this indication. From Amos chapter 3, the prophet says, "This is what Yahweh says. As a shepherd saves from the lion's mouth 2 leg bones and a piece of an ear, so will the Israelites be saved." Now that's a very sobering statement. And I don't know what that means. I have no idea the number. But it's a very sobering statement that a prophet makes about the people of Israel. Maybe the question we should ask is, will all Israel be saved? And we get an answer to that from the New Testament, Romans chapter 9, verse 11. Incidentally, this is God's last definitive word with regard to the Jews and Israel. And it is beyond me how anyone can read Romans 9 through 11 and come up with replacement theology and defend replacement theology with a straight face. I just don't see how that's possible, but it has happened. For centuries it has happened. However, Paul does speak of this, about Israel, and he speaks actually of the Israel of man and of the Israel of God. For example, in chapter 9 he says, "It is not all who are descended from Israel who are Israel, nor because they are his descendants are they all Abraham's children." So there's some of Abraham's children are not part of the fold. And he's making a distinction here between the sons of Ishmael and the sons of Jacob. Sons of Isaac, I should say. But this is a very important issue that he deals with here. And he comes to Romans chapter 11, and this is what the apostle says: "If some of the branches, the natural branches, the Israel of man, the Jews, if some of the natural branches have been broken off, and you, though a wild olive shoot, have been grafted in among the others," among the natural branches, "and you now share in the nourishing sap from the olive root, do not boast over those branches. If you do, consider this: you do not support the root. The root supports you." In summary, he says, "I do not want you to be ignorant." Oh, I'm sorry, I want to go up here further. He says, "After all, if you were cut out of an olive tree that is wild by nature and contrary to nature, were grafted into a cultivated olive tree, if you Gentiles were brought in, grafted in to the natural olive tree of the Jews, how much more readily will these, the natural branches, be grafted into their own olive tree?" How much more? It's very likely, obviously. Then he says this: "I do not want you to be ignorant of this mystery, brothers, so that you may not be conceited and say, as replacement theology people say, the church has replaced Israel in the covenant promises of God. I don't want you to be conceited. Israel, the Israel of man, has experienced a hardening in part until the full number of Gentiles has come in, and so all Israel will be saved. All Israel. And who is all Israel? It's made up of this olive tree that's made up of natural branches of Jews and engrafted branches of non-Jews. That's us, folks. That's us. Hallelujah. And then we become what the apostle refers to in Ephesians chapter 2 as the one new man. But I digress. We'll take that up next week. So till then, Od Ki Yavo Shiloh, or until Messiah comes, Shalom Aleichem.